Hello everyone, I'm Andrei. We are on Real Programming channel. What is JSONP and how is it different from JSON? JavaScript object notation and JSONP stands for JSON with padding. Introduction. Today we will understand the world of JSON and JSONP. And if you think that's boring, then you clearly haven't seen these two heroes have fun with cross-domain queries. Who is this video suitable for? Short answer for everyone, especially haters. We can answer all your questions during the video itself. In the meantime, let's start simple and understand the main features and difference between these two concepts. I hope you find it interesting. Let's go! And so I think probably many of us have heard that JSON is just a data format and JSONP is methodology for using this format in cross-domain requests. What is JSONP and how is it different from JSON? Main question. People like to say that JSONP is an old trick needed to bypass security restrictions in web browsers, which prohibits us from receiving data located on other sites' servers. When regular AJAX fails, JSONP comes into the picture, the real superhero of cross-domain queries. The idea behind a JSONP request is that instead of using AJAX to request data, we can use a script src external URL tag. Using src specified in the script, it receives and runs JS code on our page. The server to which such a request was sent should also provide us with the correct JS code JSONP response. In this response, the server sends JS code instead of JSON, where JSON data is passed as a function parameter. We indicate the name in the URL that the function will have. We create a JS function on our site, which will ultimately be launched after a response arrives from the remote server. No, we didn't delete it, if anything. We're loading and executing the script. It turns out that we are running a JS function where the JSON object received from the remote server is the first parameter. In this function, we process the received data from another server. Now let's look at some simple code. Link the description. It's like popping popcorn. Just add some JSONP and your website will become a mermaid circus. Let's say we want to make a request to the domain example.net and our domain is example.com. To do this, we need to cross the boundaries of our domain, and this is prohibited in most browsers. And the script tag is the only element that bypasses this limitation, which might be useful for hackers to know. So I hope you don't intend to use it for evil purposes. When we make a request to a server via a script tag that supports JSONP, we pass a special parameter that tells the server the name of our JS function to run. Thus, the remote server can wrap its JSON in a function and return really made JS code there which will be launched on our page. Let's say that to enable JSONP, the server expects that JSONP parameter our URL request will then look like this. The server would return a JSON string without JSONP my callback, for example, and so on. Full bar. However, when the server receives the JSONP parameter, it treats the request as JSONP and formats the result definitely returning my callback full bar. We create such a handler function on our page. Function my callback data alert data.foo. Then when the script is downloaded, it will be executed by us, i.e. our JS function will work with JSON data from the remote server, and that's it. The cross-domain request is completed. Simple code with JSON request, basic JavaScript example, Twitter feed using JSONP. But let's go look at the disadvantages. Using JSONP is like playing with fire. We trust the remote server as if it were our best friend, but what if it decides to play a trick and slips us malicious code? The main thing is that we do not have normal control over the JSONP request. For example, there is no normal way to get the error code. As a result, we will alternatively need to use timers to control the request, etc. Using JSONP is not secure. Since JSONP is JavaScript, it does everything JavaScript does, and therefore we must fully trust the JSONP data provider, because we are running someone else's JS code which can be changed at any time information. We can only perform GET requests. There is a proposal called JSON request, which seems to solve the problem of security and ensuring proper control of cross-domain requests. Recommendations. Our recommendations is to feel free free to use JSONP, but be prepared that sometimes it can act like a clone at a video. And remember that in the world of cross-domain queries, it is better to have CORS as a reliable gatekeeper. It's always better to know who is coming to your data party and why. JSONP is still useful for supporting other browsers. However, consider security. CORS is a better choice. Today, CORS is the recommended approach for performing cross-domain queries. In addition, the same origin security policy applies not only to JSON data, but also to any other web fonts, images, videos, draw using draw image, to brackets and so on. Read about CORS in here, link in the description. WordPress features related to JSONP. WP is a JSONP request. Check whether the current request is a JSONP request or is expecting a JSONP response. WP check JSONP callback checks that the JSONP callback is a valid JavaScript callback name. JSONP WP die handler kills WordPress execution and displays JSONP response with an error message. Link the description. Conclusion. So, friends, today we revealed the secrets of JSON and JSONP as if they were mystery tricks. We hope you are now ready to have fun on your cross-domain adventure. Subscribe, like, and don't forget that even in the world of programming there is always room for humor.